Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. Welcome, everybody, to a Monday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. Hopefully, everybody is doing wonderful. Brandon, you must be hungry, brother.
We're all in the mood for smash
I
burgers.
want a smash burger for some reason.
It's friggin' Carl's fault. We all want smash burgers.
Smash burger.
Smash burgers.
Oh,
Brandon, I know you've had a couple of rough nights sleeping wise. Hopefully, you're doing all right, my friend. And you know I'm always here for you if you need to
Yes, sir.
holler
Yes,
at me. Miss Candace, how was your day?
great.
Great.
It was just great.
Just leave it as great.
Well, hey, I was here early and I got to enjoy like the pre-live show, so that was a blast.
Yeah, the
We're
pre-lives
already
are
starting off a little crazy.
pretty crazy on them.
I know. Hence,
Oh, yeah.
hence the burger background.
There's a
No, I
burger
was
for a
taking
reason.
Virtual training all day, so like I'm all hyped up and ready to like talk to people.
No,
Yes.
It could be bad.
it could be bad.
It could be bad.
My day was all right. It was a typical Monday playing in the dirt. I had a job today that I had to bore underneath the driveway. Well, called the customer, talked to the customer.
She just had an earthquake.
She did. She had an earthquake. I don't know what happened there,
That
but
was- the
I was
spirits
supposed
are
to-
trying to get you.
so I was
What's
supposed to
that burger?
I was supposed to bore underneath the driveway. And so I called the customer and told the customer I was out there and everything. And as I was getting ready to get started, the neighbor comes out and say, "Hey, you got a hole in your armpit."
That's
said,
my
"Hey,
air
there-
conditioning.
There's a drainage ditch that goes underneath of this guy's driveway." And I'm like, "Really?" And so we got to looking at it. Sure enough, there's a 12-inch main MSD, which is our sewer people here in the state of Kentucky, and goes right up the middle of this dude's driveway. So I'm like, how do I bore underneath of that without going through the friggin' through the drainage pipe? And I'm like, what the heck? So needless to say, we had to drop that ticket off or cancel
Everything that you're saying right now, I'm listening to, but I'm
I
translating
really
it
missed it
into
all.
something else.
that.
Yeah.
You're thinking
Like I got burgers
smash
and
burgers,
armpit
smash
holes.
burgers.
Smash burger.
We're gonna smash it.
With
Oh,
Now,
bacon.
how big is it? How many patties is it?
This one behind me appears to be a 2-patty with a couple of slices of American cheese.
Here, you need to turn sideways a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, here,
So-
okay, here we go. Which way am I going? I'm going this
I
way.
see some pickles on there.
All right, so we have pickles.
Mustard
There's a pickle
and a sesame seed.
and a
butter.
pickle. And then look at this cheese.
Oh, it's
Oh, look,
cheesy.
there's more cheese under
In
the
between
patty.
the patty.
Hey, you know what kind of cheese they call that?
Oh,
What's
no.
that?
Famunda cheese.
Yes, it is. So,
What's
complete
that
with a sesame
special
seed bun.
sauce on top, though?
yeah, that's that special sauce. Oh my God, you can see behind my green screen.
That's why they call them a smash burger.
That's why they call them a smash burger.
Get smashed.
Oh, so
burger.
bad. Welcome.
All right, I'm on.
Oh, you guys.
Oh, welcome
Happy
to
You
Monday.
just want some meat in your
Is it
mouth.
Monday? Is it Monday?
It is a Monday.
Monday.
You just-
Monday.
You just want some meat in your mouth. Meat in your mouth Mondays.
That's you, Brandon. You are.
I
craving that
want
burger. It's your
a
background.
burger. I'm gonna change this background now.
I'm gonna have to bite my tongue. I don't know if my daddy's on here yet.
You know what?
So I gotta.
I need to fix. I need to fix something here, Candace, because you didn't point it out yet.
Well, you always forget about me.
Don't you?
That's a song that went through my head just now. As soon as I said it.
There, it's fixed.
Forget about me.
There we go.
It should be Candace and Willis, but because you're over here on this side. But anywho, it's Monday. We had a great show last night.
Whose fault is this? Is it Carl or Brandon's or mine?
I think it's yours.
It's gotta be.
I think it's your fault. We're blaming.
I want burgers. She wants some chocolate. It's going to hell.
Oh,
It's all about food.
Look, the chocolate's irrelevant. It doesn't even matter.
Right.
I'll take a burger.
All right, we're going to keep this a little PG.
No. We had this conversation before. Did he not tell us? We
burger.
did not have to watch those.
Hey, don't we have a guest? Do we have a guest?
We do.
Yeah.
We do have a guest. We got Mr. Carl Whalen with Back
Trying
the
to write this shit.
Rumble. So let's a little bit about Back the Heroes Rumble, and you got to make sure you put Back the Heroes, not Back the Hero Rumble, because they are two different things. So
Wait, what?
Yeah, if you go to Google and you type in Back the Hero Rumble, not Heroes, but Hero Rumble,
What
it comes.
bring up?
I don't know, some weird shit.
Let's see it.
I ain't gonna bring it up on the screen right now. But there,
I'm on a computer.
Rumble DBA as Back the Heroes Rumble is recognized in Ohio as a 501c3 nonprofit corporation in support of law enforcement, first responders, firefighters, and military servicemen, men and women, and the veteran community. Our service area covers the entire states of Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana.
Would you like me to start reading some things, Maureen?
No, I just need you to stop interrupting me.
I need you to sit there and shut up.
I waited until you were done reading it all.
I'm gonna give you the knife hand.
Just fire me. Look, I love how Carl's doing everything.
So the organization is consisted of 5 board members in the Cincinnati Tri-State Community, including 3 military veterans. In addition, we have partnered with local chapters and charities that share in our mission directives. When a local law enforcement officer was killed in the line of duty in our area, it had shaken every one of us to our core. So we decided to do a car show to honor the fallen officer as our way of backing the blue in a loud way. After helping host the car show for the officer, many of us wanted to continue to do this on a larger scale and more frequently. Our name was inspired by the experience of backing the blue in the successful car show, but we wanted to support more than just our law enforcement. So we created this nonprofit corporation to serve police, fire, and military. What's up, Woo Rider? Welcome to the show, my friend.
Woo Rider, that's one of mine.
I know.
Yeah, thank you.
It's one of mine.
It's one of mine. I don't know. Every time I hear Woo Rider, I do this, and
I know, right? Yeah, ain't
should
nothing
be
wrong
East
with that.
Side. East Side.
What was the other one you were doing last night?
I mean, yeah.
Walmart.
The
The Walmart
Walmart
one.
Yeah, there you go. Wait a minute.
And
Walmart.
the way that he's sitting, it looks like a big W behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got. You ready for this?
Oh God,
McDonald's.
that's not what I. Yeah, McDonald's.
But
I need
without
you to sit there and
further
shut up.
That's not. Like I can't do it.
ado, he's going to knife hand you. All right, let's bring Carl up on the stage.
Yes, please.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Carl.
Hello. How are
There
you
we
guys?
Are you
How are you,
ready for
sir?
this, Carl?
I am, but Brandon, just because I already love you, brother, like a family member, and my family and friends I'm so close to, I tease them. I'm sorry.
Ah,
But I will tell you this.
Put
You
that up in the
I don't know
camera.
where
What are
live,
you doing?
Brandon,
Get
but if
close.
you're nearby, I can cook you a mean burger or a steak.
I live in South Carolina.
Carl,
Oh,
put,
then you need to come to my house.
that closer up in the camera. Give him more details. Look at that.
Oh,
Look at
oh.
Oh, is that caramelized onion?
Yes,
Look at
sir.
that. Look at
Oh
that.
my
Yum.
God.
And yes, guys, that was literally made on my Blackstone. I toasted the bun too.
No, it's behind you, Brandon. The burger's behind you.
Oh, what's
No, the
behind me?
good one's in front of him.
I'm so confused right now.
None of that Famunda cheese. That's white American right there.
That's what
That's
Oh,
a bit of me, white American.
I was gonna let you have that one. Did you see it started turning? I was like,
yeah. The wheels were turning. I seen the smoke coming out of the headphones. Well, anyway, Carl, introduce yourself to the world, my friend.
So, again, my name's Carl Whalen, as you can see right here. I'm the executive director and co-founder for Back the Heroes Rumble. Prior to starting a nonprofit several years ago, I decided I was young, dumb, full of cum, decided to go into the military.
Oh, wait.
But the reason I did was because I had a kid on the way. So really dumb.
So you weren't
But
that
still
cool.
blessed. And I had a chance to go to Ohio State instead, but I chose to go in the military because I wanted to make sure my kid was provided. I went in as a combat medic, 68 Whiskey, actually a Mike 6, which is an LPN identifier. Originally was enlisted as a reservist, went through training, through LPN certification, got back to my unit, decided I couldn't do the reserve thing, re-enlisted after a conditional release from the reserves to re-enlist for active duty. Then I got sent to Fort Riley, Kansas, served with the Big Red One, and 8 months later deployed to my only tour to Iraq, where I served 11 months and 26 days. After I got back, went through WLC, found out I had medical issues that I was not aware of, things that are invisible wounds, my back, mental. And after separating from the military in 2011, went to school to be a paramedic, graduated the program, only to be told by IFSAC that I couldn't be a firefighter because of my back.
all right.
VA Voc Rehab sent me through nursing school at University of Cincinnati, where I graduated with a 3.6 GPA. Was very proud of that. After I did that, I tried to work at the VA, and the VA routed me out because my back, again, kept me from working in the nursing field for a prolonged period of time. So then the VA's like, hey, fuck it, IUP&T. And after 6 months of really just trying to just soak in everything, my life changing, I wanted to be in healthcare, and it is what it is. It just turns out that I was meant to do something else as this calling came about in 2019, and the rest is history, guys. Here we are 5 years later.
Nice.
No,
And
I love
I'm
it.
so sorry, but I am so distracted. It looks like, Brandon, are you grilling a burger over there in front of you? Like, do you see the steam? What is happening? That's awesome, Carl. But you have to feel good because you
Cooking
were
a
in the
burger.
army. He got denied from joining the army.
After doing my 2 tours in the Marine Corps, so the first one was from 97 to 01, got out, 9/11 happened, got recalled back in, did my time there and got out, and I was trying to go into the army, and they said, oh, you can't go in the army, because you had asthmatic symptoms as a child. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Here I am.
I had idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura, which is just layman's terms. I had a clotting issue from my immune system attacking my platelets when I was a little one. I grew out of it, thankfully, as an adult, and it almost kept me from going in. So I completely understand about childhood things almost keeping you from going in.
Right.
There were a lot of waivers being signed. Thankfully, I didn't need one, but if I did, they would have signed it.
But they let them in the Marines.
But yeah, they let me in the Marines. Now, I did get some waivers when I first joined the Marine Corps. And the funny thing is that the doctor at Louisville MEPS that let me join the Marine Corps is the same one who denied me from joining the Army.
I think he was doing you a favor.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, looking back 20 years, looking back, he did me a favor.
Yeah.
But the man upstairs has always got a plan for us. He's going to lead us in the right direction. So,
what I love is like you were essentially, I don't want to say done serving, but you were done with your
military service.
Yes, and you wanted to continue serving in your community and back home. And I'm sorry that it stinks that you weren't able to do that, but it tells a lot about how you got this started and where your heart is, and your genuineness, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And behind this organization, I think
The
it's
servant
wonderful.
heart.
Yeah. There you
And
go.
and I'll jump on that, and then Carl, I'll let you jump in. But she was saying that she was sorry that it happened that way and whatever. I'm not, because had this if those are French fries, get away. Are they French? Oh my god!
That's the other co-founder, my wife Andrea. She's my better half. She's my secretary, keeps me in line.
You're killing me. No,
I love it.
I'm not making your face on purpose.
Right? She did that on purpose. What was I even? I was about to say something super nice about you, and then your wife just screws it up.
But that was her. That wasn't me.
You said that you're happy that it happened the way that it did.
Yeah. That's right. So, I'm happy that it happened the way it did, because had it not been for that background, you probably wouldn't be where you're at 5 years into a 501(c), which is amazing, because the 5th year is the hardest year to get to. So I commend you 100%. And I'll give you the floor, Carl.
So you talk about servant heart, right? Initially, I wanted to stay in medical because that's what I was trained to do. I mean, let's be real. The military's medical training for those who go into that MOS or that occupational specialty is really gung-ho, really awesome, really thorough, detailed. And then the training you do afterwards is more high speed, right? That's a phrase I haven't heard in almost 20 years.
Oh, yeah, high speed.
So, I mean, absolutely. I feel like it gave me another way to segue my knowledge and expertise, because I was even aspiring while I was going through paramedic school. I was taking coursework to become an EMS director. So I was already learning about first responder needs. And
we riders, I promise.
But I'll tell you, the hardest part for me is, until it became as successful as it is now, there were a lot of struggles. So year one was 2019, right? What happened 2020?
Right.
COVID, yeah.
Well, before COVID, what was happening before the election year?
Oh, I moved back from Hawaii.
The fund the police movement.
Oh, yeah.
There's that too. That was a thing.
Like the stupidity there is in the country. I'm sorry, but common sense isn't anymore, right? Everybody's all like, defund the police. They didn't get all this funding. Do you realize that about 90% of the budgetary restrictions that are given to these first responders, if they are paid, is salary and recruiting, training, and then maybe equipment. But then that goes to vehicles, that goes to apparatuses. That doesn't go to PPE. That doesn't go to upgrading the radios so they can actually communicate with one another. It's not providing trauma kits to our officers. So that's a big reason why I saw that need head on. I'm like sitting there thinking during 2020, our second year in ops, I'm like, I want to keep honoring our fallen. But damn it, we need to stop these guys from dying, because they were dying left, right. Yeah. COVID accelerated that. And it still hasn't slowed down. I mean, now people are purposely targeting these people.
I know.
Let me say that again. These people, they're not just robots like on iRobot where they're getting gunned down and you're like, well, that guy's gone. No, you're killing the father. You're killing a son. You're killing a daughter. You're killing a person with a heart and a servant heart. And there's some that very, very few that might actually use the badge as a way to lull their own demons and get upset and react accordingly, right?
There's that apple in every profession.
Oh, yeah. There was a Dr. Death. There's the Angel of Death at Cincinnati VA in the 90s that literally purposely killed patients because he thought they was helping them end their suffering. And he was a nursing tech. He wasn't even a nurse. He had access to medicine. Please explain that to me. But everybody wants to sit there and premise that cops are bad. Firefighters, they know what they're getting into. So why are we worried about, excuse me? Then why are we supporting veterans and military if they knew what they got into, right?
Right.
Seriously.
Well, and I definitely want to say that I was in law enforcement and I was a firefighter. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. I knew what I was getting into. But I didn't know that there was that much hate towards a badge or a uniform. I did not sign up for that. I signed up to come help you. I signed up to run into this burning building to make sure your damn cat gets out.
And that has to be so conflicting. So, the fact that you were not only military, but also officer and a firefighter, and you do run into that, whether you guys are just service members, not just is a horrible word.
No, I get it.
But whether you're a military person or whether you're an officer or whether you're a firefighter and you're going to help somebody and you're met with such hostility, like that has to be so conflicting
It
to
is.
a sense. And but you still have to be on top of your game. You have to make those split-second decisions, and you're going in to help somebody, and they don't want you there, and they're combative and fighting you for it. How do you deal with that?
I challenge that thought process just a little
Alcohol.
bit. And I'm going to tell you why. I was a medic in the military, okay? What was the thing we always had in the back of our mind was a big concern and worry? Children and women with bombs and guns, right?
Right.
You're taught, head on a swivel,
Mm-hmm.
5-25s, right? You're taught to, your infantry first, your medic second, okay? If you have to protect the wounded at all costs, guess what? That means pulling a trigger. Fortunately, I did not have to worry about that. I had a quiet deployment. I'm going to premise it as that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
My deployment is not what you think of when you think of, and I'm not trying to do DD-214 talk. I'm just simply stating I felt like my deployment was quieter compared to what we expected to face in Iraq. We still dealt with
but you all do it different. And don't downgrade. Don't marine that down. Like, really don't do that, because every opportunity of those 11 months and 26 days could have been a different situation.
Oh, sure.
You knew the possibilities. So don't downgrade it, because
and I'm not. I'm just basically stating facts, right? The way I look at it. And so my reasoning for using that as an example, as an argumentative point for debate, is with police officers like the military, when they're at the helm, they know that there's chaos. It's going to happen, and your job is to de-escalate and break things down, and then scene safety, and then your medic counterparts or your firefighters can come in and help rescue the person when they need medical aid, right? Mm-hmm. Scene safety for my buddy and I. That's always EMT basic level 1 stuff, right? But here's the thing. Cops have to do it, and firefighters have to do it in their own backyard. They have to go home knowing damn well that at any moment's notice, they're going to get a phone call to go back.
Yeah.
Well, they're also out, when all of that stuff was happening, they're out there and they're required to protect those that are against them.
And I was 100% fine with that. I was 100% cool with that. I'm gonna but I'm gonna get you out of this. Now, what you do with this opportunity?
The riots. Here's what I'm like, the riots and things like that, where they're down there.
Oh, you're not talking like one-on-one.
Police are protecting. Yeah, no, I'm talking like big bunches. When all of this stuff really was an uproar, and these officers are required to go down and bring in a National Guard, and required to defend and protect those that are there to be against them.
Right.
Like how, and I think a lot of nationwide, police officers were dropping off the force left and right. Like there's such a what's it called?
There's a really low retention rate in law enforcement right now.
Yes, and there's such a need. Like the staff is so low, and I hate to call it staff because you should never call an officer or something like that staff.
Well, no, it's staff. It's a staffing thing.
But it's a huge issue because there's not enough officers. There's not enough officers to cover shifts or an entire area, because people they got into this mindset of why would I want to go do this? And they tried. So many of them tried to stick through it, and you get to a point that it's like, how do you keep protecting those that are trying to destroy you?
Right. I mean, give you an example. Even firemen. Jacob McClanahan, firefighter out of Indiana, and also he crossed over to Ohio. There was a disabled vehicle on the side of the road. He stopped, pulled over in his pickup truck, tried to offer him help. Kid turned around, dude driving, turned around with a shotgun, blasted at him. Fortunately, another cop arrived, was able to, take care of the suspect. Unfortunately, it led to 2 lives lost, but it could have been 3 with the officer. And more importantly, an innocent firefighter who was off duty offering his services to help somebody when he wasn't even on the damn clock. He's dead.
But that's the thing that people don't realize. You look at these officers and these firefighters and these EMTs and any first responder field, like most of them, they ain't doing it for the money. They're doing it because that's what they feel that they're supposed to do.
Right.
It's their purpose. Sure, you got some rotten apples. You got rotten apples and teachers.
There's 10% in everything.
Sure, but for the most part, the larger majority, these people have a beautiful heart inside, and they're wanting to protect you, regardless of who you are, whether it's race, religion, your background, anything about that. They don't care. They take that oath to protect what they consider as theirs. That's their home, and they're protecting their communities. And
Brandon's harped on this really good early on in the conversation. People need to remember also a lot, and I mean a lot, of first responders, whether you're a firefighter or you're a police officer. Guess who else they are? They're freaking military veterans.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah.
Yep.
I know 3 right in my backyard. I'm not going to say their names, but they know who they are. They're friends with me on social media. I know that they served in the Army as infantry, got out, or as an MP, and got out and decided to serve their local community as a cop, knowing darn well that at one point, this very department, which is one of the best in the state, if not one of the best in the nation for code of conduct and everything else, right? They at one point had a negative stigma attached to that department.
Yeah.
I mean, and they built from the ground up and made themselves better. And now they're just, like I said, they're a great police department.
Yeah.
Every single officer is very professional and they do so many great things for our community outside of that. I mean, heck, last Christmas, they took toys that were given to them and gave them out to the community. They didn't have to do that.
Right.
Driving around with Santa and giving toys to kids on the street. Not just winning hearts and minds as we would have considered in the Middle East, right?
Right.
Truly showing the public we care about you. And we want to show that by making you feel joyful when you see us, not fearful.
No.
Right.
And you know that I'll share
all of us.
I'll share the story. By the way, Carl, real quick, I left you a message in the private chat.
I feel like the Brady Bunch.
So
on it, Brandon.
So I had to get my own vest. The company that I was, or the department I was with, that's right. That's how I feel about it. But y'all that can't see the private chat, too bad. But I had to go to an organization, a 501c like you are, to get a vest because we didn't have enough to go around.
Yeah. Okay, so that's leading into.
I set
that's
you up
where
for
I was
that.
getting ready. Well, kind of. That's not where I was going to go first, but everybody also forgets that. Yeah, thanks. These officers, every single one of these heroes are a human being, and they have a family. Like, they're people. They're humans. So, yeah, you're leading me into something else, but I first wanted to start it. Before we get into that question, Mr. Cooper, we hear all of our passion about this issue, and especially coming from the community that we're all in and that we strive to help and make better and provide resources for things. So anybody that's watching can clearly see the passion behind this, especially with Carl, the one who started this organization.
Well, him and
where
his
we
wife.
talked to, yes, and him and the better half. And we're talking about this passion and the things that really are upsetting to us. But we really haven't got into. Tell us about your organization, Carl.
Yeah, we did just sort of speed in, high speed,
That's
low
okay.
drag.
Yes.
We're just like, combat veterans. We're just going in, preaching and clear.
I'll ask questions later.
So,
Yeah.
no, all right. So let me just, because it'll answer a lot of questions, right? So we have 3 programs. When we started, it was just one, and that was Operation Never Forget.
What's the name of your organization, Carl?
Oh, right up there. Back to Heroes Rumble.
There we go.
Yeah. We started in 2019, put on a car show for a fallen officer's family.
Where?
Raised $16,000 for his family. Over 500 show vehicles showed up. I had no idea what I was doing. I had 9 other people helping run it, and I was just standing in a circle going,
Wee! I want a smash burger.
See, even the dogs are barking because it was crazy. And I literally remember seeing what we did with that money and gave it to the family. And then they actually started an organization which has done great leaps and bounds themselves.
How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Well, that shows you how philanthropic the city is, right? But I'll get into that in a minute.
It's a big word for a soldier.
Oh, we wanted to keep doing it. My wife, after a few days, just comes to me and says, "Honey, we could do this." And I said, "Do what?" And she goes, "This program. We could serve fallen heroes." Did you know that at the same time we were honoring that one fallen officer and he was getting all this support, there was 3 others that died in that same period? And neither one of them got a lick of the support that this one did. Now, some people might say, okay, the coals were hot on this officer. He was killed this way. That's why. Well,
it don't matter.
It don't matter.
It shouldn't matter. I'm sorry. You put on the uniform.
It
You
don't
tell
matter.
people not on my watch and you're there. You deserve the same support, period. Stop loss right there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's what happens. The common phrase is, well, that's what they knew what they were getting into. That is exactly the risk they knew they were taking. And sorry, I'm sorry they died, but not my problem. Is the phrase a lot of people will say sometimes. And I'm just like,
oh, I've heard
what?
that. Yeah.
And it's maddening. So we're like, no, we want to make sure every fallen hero is remembered and never forgotten. And so Operation Never Forget, the program we started to do our car show every year, we launched it. And we've done that for several years. We've served several fallen families to the tune, including that $16,000, mind you, because, it's all encompassing. Over $34,000 was given to fallen families.
Oh, wow. That's good.
And it's been hard. I mean, we have
people are going to ask, what are those funds provided to that family for? Because there are people out there going to be like, well, what do they need that money for?
That's a great question. It's not my money. It's blood money. I don't want it. We do the car show. The sponsors pay for the event, which is the main reason we do the event, is to honor the families, right? But while we're doing the event, let's do a car show. Let's make it fun, make it festive. Let's not be somber and sad the whole time. Let's celebrate their service, celebrate their memory, their legacy. And on top of that, let's have a flyover during the show. Let's have the families go through and pick their favorite car that reminds them of their loved one or that their loved one loved. And that's honoree's choice. There is no best of show. It's honoree's choice. So it could be the most beat up thing in the lot. It don't matter. And we have several trophies away, about 40 to 50 trophies every year. And all the money raised from the registration, T-shirt sales to remember the fallen. You got to think these fallen families, heroes' names are tethered to this event each year. I don't want to keep that money. That's not for me. That's not for my organization. That's for the families.
Yeah.
And
people will question, what does the family need that money for?
Well, okay, let's talk about immediate.
I can't stop this one from coming out. It's none of your damn business.
No, you're absolutely right. But your Karens and your Daves and stuff out there are going to be like, well,
I'm not talking all about you, Candace, but I'm hot about this. Look, all right.
That's why I'm asking the question. It's so
this
important.
Detective Ryan Hendricks.
Last night.
Shh. That's okay. We get passionate about it. Sit there and shut up.
I can't.
No. I know.
But we were talking about
this guy.
Oh my God.
This guy, Detective Ryan Hendricks, I served with him in the Marine Corps. He gets out. He goes to serve Hendersonville, North Carolina, becomes a detective, gets shot in the face and killed. It hits home because people don't realize, why do they need that? Well, it just doesn't touch that family. Like, I have so many friends that I've met through my service, and it touches a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's still to this day. I saw Ryan Hendricks, that was my boy, and he got shot in the face by somebody who just didn't want to go to jail. And Asheville defunded the police, and now they are missing 60% of their patrol officers. So to the people that is
nuts right now.
Well, and to the people that ask, why do this family need this money? It's none of your damn business.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And I think they deserve more than what we can give them. And it's unfortunate that you do have these people out here that it's one of those things when people question things that are good because they don't have the right heart. But it's what we were talking about last night is we have to normalize these conversations. Like this is reality. It's happening. Like you talked about, like you were raising funds for this one family, and then 3 more were, lost during the same time period. And people they're uncomfortable. They don't want to talk about it, and they want to come up with an excuse on why. Well, that's just what happens. No, we need to talk about it in more detail, and we need to.
And
also needs to be said in that premise.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. If y'all ever see Dan Bongino, I'm about to go off.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Why the fuck, pardon my French, why the fuck are we sending money to Ukraine and not taking care of our own country here?
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching HomeFront Sitrep. Drop the mic. Good night.
No. Here's why I asked that question. Everybody goes, well, Ukraine this, Ukraine that, Israel this, Israel that, Gaza this, Gaza that. Guess what? You care more about people in the foreign countries than you do your own people in your friggin' backyard.
And it doesn't have anything to do with them being foreign. It's the fact that we have a country here that is becoming so dilapidated. The homeless veterans, our officers, our firefighters, everybody that's suffering.
And I was homeless
and we're not taking care of them.
I was a homeless veteran. I was the alcoholic veteran. I was the veteran that needed the money. Then I became the person that could help. But I'm not alone. I was living in a tent by a river, and like half a mile up from me was a Vietnam veteran in his site. Oh, so cool. Yeah, it sucks what's happening overseas. I hate it. But I'm not the world. We're not the world's police.
No, we're not. And the thing is, too, right? It comes to death. Death is tragedy across the board. Period. End of story.
Yep.
But we're not going to say that anybody overseas is more important than our very own country. 1, 2. Why are we sitting there wishing ill will on our brothers, our neighbors?
Right.
But we're wanting to sit there and virtue signal about a foreign country that has billions of dollars, billions with a B, and we got police that don't even have
there.
We have firefighters that don't have the right gear to protect them from cancer.
Right.
So getting back to what the funds go to. Now, the people that say, well, why do they deserve that money? Screw you. Nobody cares. But the people that come up to you and ask, where is my money going, that actually donate, those are the people that, yeah, sure, cool. We'll break it down. And if you want to break down a little bit of whatever, like I know you have products that go out and stuff.
Let me just tell you this. So with Operation Debt, every dime raised pays for the cost of the event, and then at the event, everything goes to the families. In the past, every single family, I'm not saying this is going to be the case on every basis because, again, like you said, it's none of their damn business. But for those who want to know, I'm going to tell you. One officer or a fallen soldier, Coletti, okay, they put a scholarship money aside for their daughters. Okay, that's what Joseph Coletti did, first honoree. Second family, Daryl Gordon. He took the money and put it towards a scholarship to put kids through Princeton High School into college in Daryl Gordon's name. Family 3, 2 fallen officers. Guess what? The money went to them. They took it and used it towards memoriams. They used it towards scholarships. Okay. Year 4, 2 fallen soldiers from Afghanistan at Abbey Gate. Humberto Sanchez, his family used their money for a memorial for him. Very deserving, nice memorial. Max's Soviet's family took their money. Guess what they did? They got a PTSD service dog for a female with MST. Okay?
Right.
5, last year, both honorees couldn't attend. Both families couldn't attend. So they wanted us to give it to a charity and went to Tri-State Face Team, which is tackling cancer among firefighters.
You're looking at these families that are grieving and lived something so traumatic and still in the grief of that, turning around and being so selfless.
Yeah.
In a time of their need, all they want to do is help somebody else.
Right.
And people don't understand that I want some French fries too, lady. People don't understand that when I go out there, I'm going to take the bullet so you don't have to. And I don't care who you are, what you look like, or you come from. That's my job.
Has something she wants to say.
French fries?
So the main reason we actually started this nonprofit, like you asked, where's the money going to? The answer is yes. Where is dinner coming from? Who's going to make the car payment? That's the loss of an income.
Correct.
That's the reason why we started it. So whatever we could put towards them, we didn't care how much it was or what they did with it. We've got littles asking where their parents are.
Where's daddy? Where's mommy?
You've got
Oh yeah.
we've got a 17-year-old and a 4-year-old. I've got, we got
Buddy.
through college, and it's like, where's the money going? Wherever they need it, and that's the reason that we started it.
Yep.
I love it.
Was that loss of income? So, and they were like, well, "What do you want us to do with the money?" And we're like,
"It's yours."
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
We're not directing you, and that's the beautiful thing of you guys starting this organization is, you have some that go and they try to start a nonprofit, and they're very strategic about that. Like, here, this money's for this and this and this. When you're not really looking at the need of that person, and what you guys did was go, you know what? It doesn't matter what they need it for, but they need it, and any little bit of help that you can give them, whether it's school supplies or toys for Christmas or, protective gear to our heroes or funds for a fallen hero's family, it doesn't matter where it's going. And people have got to get over that. And that's what I think is so beautiful about how you guys started this.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's good.
And one last little segue on that too. And that is, again, it's blood money. I don't want it. Now, we have other programs that we get funding and donations to. And here's the cool part. Just trying to keep us moving so I get you guys to a really good substance here.
Yeah.
We have other programs. We have Operation Open Arms, where we provide life-saving equipment for first responders at no cost to the first responders. We don't give them the money, we give them the equipment. But we'll go into detail with that in a minute. And in the third program, we do a holiday toy drive and back-to-school drive for these very heroes' families as a thank you based, not need based, thank you based. And here's the cherry on top. You can donate to whichever program you want. When you donate to our cause, there is a choice where you want that money to go.
Smart.
And that way, there's no reason you can't say you don't know where your money went. You decided that. And guess what? We use it towards that. I have a treasurer who works at Fifth Third Bank. That's who we bank with. She's fantastic at what she does. She used to work in the credit card department. Like, she knows her stuff. She's also a spouse of a Navy combat veteran. She's also a lead with Team Rubicon, who's been serving for over a decade, her and her husband. And they're both on our board. So, we got good people taking care of these funds and using them the right way. We also have countless partners that join us. But the number one thing is we try to be as transparent as we can, almost to a fault, to showcase people, this is where your money goes.
Yeah.
And it's
a shame that that's what you're doing, is fighting to show people where money is going instead of spending that time fighting a good fight. It takes up so much of your time, because I started my nonprofit back in 2018 because my daddy was one of those veterans that needed help and continued to get a phone call or a phone number and a message, and nothing was going anywhere. And it's so sad that you spend so much of your time trying to do what you feel is the right thing to do, but you're spending so much time fighting the people that are asking you why.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Why do you need that? And why does that person need this? You know what? If you don't want to help, go away. Because I have better things to do with my time. I got people to save. I got people to help.
Well, and I don't mind doing it, because there's so many charities that abuse public trust.
Oh yeah.
Howdy.
Let's just call it for what it is. There's even first responder agencies have guys that abuse money, and it violates the trust. And you wonder why there's some people that won't support our cause, because they see that and go, well, they don't need our money. That's another reason why we don't give them the money. We give them the equipment, not because we don't trust them, but it's because we want the public to know that the money really went to what we said it was going to go to.
Right.
Fair.
It gives them confidence. There we go.
That's what it's come to. Well, because you have those bad apples that give it a bad name.
And unfortunately, when you have those bad apples,
we know some.
I know some. I've dealt with several of them, and they give the veteran service organizations a black eye. And it could be, you know, something so small and insignificant. And it could be even in their personal life. It don't even have to be with the organization, something about the organization. But if that veteran does something that, you know, like, let's say taking money that doesn't belong to them because they lied about this or lied
A
about
Wounded Warrior Project.
That was a civilian. I get it.
And they give that organization a black eye, or they give, you know, the veterans in general, black eye. Like, you know, if you're taking money, let's say you're rated 70% from the VA, right?
Yeah.
And then you turn around and tell people, oh, I can't leave my house. I can't do this. I can't do this. And then they bump you up to 100%, but yet here you are doing everything willy-nilly, and it's for the whole world to see. Yeah, you're going to get caught. But what happens is rightfully so, you're going to get caught. And then, you know, you give the veterans a black eye. They're like, so it's
a domino effect that you're talking about, though. It's not just the fact that it's hurting VSOs. That's also hurting those veterans that actually need that and deserve that compensation, you know, because now, you know, you're just now going through your stuff.
Yeah.
But it's going to be harder for you to get the things that you need because of somebody else's actions. And that's a damn shame.
Yeah.
For somebody that actually needs it and not abusing that system.
Yeah.
Now, every veteran deserves something because of their service. And I think that until the day that they die. Not every veteran is a good person. Not every hero is a good person.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make them.
So let's segue to a question. So that was asked before we got started, and actually it was asked last night. Miss Candace, you have a question.
Yeah.
And
since you just talked about that program,
it's a really good. Let's go ahead and talk about that question.
So I'm going to give some details out before I ask the question out loud.
Do you want to share the screen? We can share the screen if you want.
Yeah, do that. Push that button.
Give people substance.
Let's give them some. Let's give them.
Push the button.
So something like Willis and I, and you know, Brandon's going to start to do is doing our due diligence and looking into our guests that we bring into the podcast. Let me have that back. So you know, we look them up. We look at some history and the things that they get involved with. So looking through the website, you're looking at this page here, and this is the Operation Open Arms, correct, Carl?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. So it is showing, of course, 100% of these funds are given out. They have served 30 departments and $67,000 since 2020. That's amazing. Those numbers are astronomical. It's beautiful to see. Here's where my questions came in.
Yeah.
So you scroll down and you're looking at the items that are donated. First of all, our items donated to law enforcement. You're looking at trauma kits, radios, body cameras, non-lethal tools, morale and welfare needs. And then for firefighters and EMTs, upgraded particulate, protective hoods, radios, extraction equipment, COVID-19 supplies, all types of PPE, morale and welfare needs. Okay, take this.
Huge one is that last one.
So my question, Mr. Carl, and this, like we talked about before, is not to question back the Heroes Rumble. It's to question what's wrong with our communities and our government that it is taking an organization to provide these supplies and protective gear for the people that are out there putting their lives on the line. Why is that not an automatic thing that's provided to them? Why are they sitting in a police department or a fire station or in an ambulance and they don't have the items that they need to protect themselves? It blows my mind why there's had to be so much fundraising and these things bought to give to somebody that should already be provided with those items.
Question has a pretty good answer to it. All right. To start, you've got paid police and fire departments, and you've got volunteer.
Right.
And you're superlative volunteer. Okay. There are funds through FEMA. There are funds through the state that help try to bridge those gaps of needs in funding, right? Whether that's a cruiser, whether that's PPE, recruiting and retention, that sort of thing. It depends on each state, and then there's federal through the SAMS program, okay? A big thing that's lost is a large portion of that is paying these said officers and firefighters that are paid their salary, pay for training, pay for a building to operate, pay for, and a lot of places will have taxes to cover some of that, right? But there's a big portion of it that's still underfunded. And a lot of times those needs get gapped out because of the cost. Do you know just a brand new fire apparatus? You talk about infrastructure needs, right? Just a brand new apparatus fire truck's $1 million.
It's a necessity.
And I know. And it's $1 million. And when you got a budget that's less than that and you're getting grants left and right to try to supplement that need, do you have money left over to get upgraded hoods that are 100?
You know what I don't understand even more with what you're saying right now? We just had this conversation. How much money is going overseas?
Yeah.
Could fund and provide everything for our heroes that they could.
If a fucking frog had wings, it wouldn't hit his ass every time it jumped. I get your point and I get what you're saying, but I'm afraid you're wasting your oxygen on a mute point that nobody that can do a damn thing is going to listen to. And unfortunately,
that's the thing. And that's where we all need to start coming together.
I 100% agree. But if it wasn't for people like Carl, I mean, to step in, I may not have been here because I had to get my vest when I was law enforcement through a 501(c)(3).
And that's sad. To me, that's sad. That's heartbreaking. Now, I love the fact that there was that 501(c)(3) there to provide that for you, but it shouldn't have been the case. I love the fact that Carl and his wife have created this so that that Tri-State area has been provided with those things. And that's what's so beautiful about what you guys have created. But it's a damn shame that it took a 501(c)(3) to provide those things to our law enforcement, to our firefighters, to even some of our military people. Like, why? That's ridiculous to me.
Yep. I like that vest. Is that a level 3?
That is a level 3A.
Nice.
Ballistic vest.
Yeah.
Now, those numbers are arbitrary. Let's be real. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Those are based on 2009, 2010.
Right. Ballistic testing. I get that, but yeah.
And what I have in front of me here is provided by North American Rescue. That's the company we bought them from.
I grew up right next to the guy that started that. Their whole company is 20 minutes from me.
That's cool. That's awesome. Well, this ballistic vest particular is one of many that's going to a police department that also doubles as a fire department. And what they need these for is active shooter situations. That's a fucking shit show we're dealing with. Yep. Everybody talks about, we need weapons legislation. Actually, no, we don't. We need to put, unfortunately, we're in the status in this world. It's media. It's this crap narrative that's on the internet that's forcing people to believe that guns are going to actually be it's the loony bins grabbing the guns and killing them that don't have a criminal record that are getting them and shooting these people.
That's the problem. They closed all the loony bins and now they're all walking the street.
Yeah. So these vests are definitely and unfortunately necessary. And it's going to, and these are universal fit. So they can tighten at the top and around the waist. They're a lot like the OTV, that we had in the Army. Okay.
Right.
If you get them just the standard ballistic, it's not gonna fit everybody, and then it gets to be cost prohibitive. $700 plus a piece.
You're right, Jeremy.
Going to a department,
but it might protect a bad shot.
Police officers, you asked me why we buy the trauma kits. I understand that you think that everybody needs to. I do agree. Every officer should have one.
Oh yeah, don't think I'm questioning why you do it.
But unfortunately, there's just not enough money in the pot to go around to take care of every little need. And a lot of officers are left with paying for their own PPE outside of their body armor, outside of their belts, their issued gun, their ammo, and their radio and body camera. And even body cameras aren't guaranteed. Right now, there's a big push for transparency in law enforcement to protect our officers, but more importantly, to protect the public. And that's how people look at it, right? There's no money left to buy trauma kits. Now, this particular trauma kit, $100 online. And what's in it is going to save lives. Did you know 82% of all officers killed in the line of duty from gunshot wounds being the leading cause of death, the ones that are killed from that were wearing body armor? Body armor is not stopping everything, guys. We know that as vets. We understand.
Yeah.
Right.
But this trauma kit, it contains the gear and necessary equipment to actually save their life long enough for pre-hospital transport and care to get them to a surgeon and save their lives. And they're bought, again, you see the emblem? North American Rescue. They're a big partner of ours. We buy all our stuff from them. If we can't buy it from them, we get them from a partner that's connected to them. And we also work with Motorola, AT&T FirstNet. We're always working alongside of many corporate partners that are out there doing the same God's given work that we've been motivated to do ourselves.
Right.
Inside these trauma kits is a pair of high vent chest seals, certified for 3 years for expiration date. You've got a cat tourniquet. We all know what those are.
Yep.
You got, a lot of people call them Israeli bandage, but you know what those are, right?
Yep.
It's a large bandage, that compression. And 2 packs of 4-yard length compressive gauze, 2 pair of gloves, a shock blanket for survival, for shock for blood loss, etc., and trauma shears to get through the body armor, the uniform.
Right.
All of that is provided by our donors. And I can tell you right now, out of that $67,000 given, we're just really getting going on the fire department side. 24 of those departments that were helped in the form of this very thing, trauma kits. And we're not done, guys. There's 108,000 police officers and firefighters throughout Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky combined. If you do the math, guys, that's almost a $10 to $12 million investment into our first
Just for trauma kits.
Just for trauma kits or hoods, because these hoods right here are the nanoparticulate protective hoods. One of 3 companies makes to block 99.2% of all cancer-causing particulates. This particular hood is made by Globe MS Safety. Okay, Initech has their own brand too.
So why is that something that's not provided to those firefighters?
It is, but it isn't. Let me explain. So, like I told you, there was a funding gap, right? Well, unfortunately, in that funding gap, and fortunately, there's a need for a program in the states, and each state has a way to meet that need with a grant program that they have every year that these departments can apply to. I'll fuck with this later. It's a bitch.
I would have done gave up a long time ago.
A monkey trying to fuck a football, putting that stuff back. So there's a funding gap there, and these hoods, the states try to provide through grants. Okay, I believe, I can't remember the name. It's like some really long Ohio firefighter protective gear grant. Let me see what that is.
I just don't understand, why is it not part of like the uniform? Like, here's your uniform. It's provided as everything you possibly need. It should be part of becoming what you become.
Well, and here's the problem. So since 1980 or around that time, so if there's firefighters on here listening, feel free to comment in the section if the year's wrong. But in 1980 or late 1970s, there was legislation that required, because before they didn't even have just these, but they had traditional Nomex hoods that barely keep the heat off you, to keep the soot off them from exposure from cancer as firefighters, part of their gear. Well, a lot of departments didn't have those until just very recently in the last 10, 15 years because of funding gaps. Now, those hoods cost anywhere between $20 to $40. Okay. Most firemen get provided 1 or 2 of those, and then they can go buy them as they need to replace them, or their department applies for what Ohio calls a FEEG grant, which is Firefighter Exposure to Environment Elements grant. And it's an annual thing they can apply for to get new turnout gear, new boots, everything that protects you from head to toe, right?
Right.
And they get a certain amount of funding per department based on the size of their department. That's a paid status. Key phrase there. Paid status,
right?
There's so many volunteer fire departments that don't get as much money. They can get grants, but usually they go through FEMA or the federal side, or there's a smaller grant. At least in Ohio, there's a smaller grant they can get. Kentucky has a better grant program, but I haven't really I've not dove into the particular details of that grant, but they have one as well. Okay.
There's so many volunteer firefighters here in the
Yeah.
But it's literally Bureau of Workers' Comp, BWC for the states that are doing the funding. And it's still not enough. There's so many gaps.
but they're still expected to do their job.
Yeah.
And you can just deal with it. Yeah. Or they pay for it out of their own pocket if they know how to go through it. There's distributors all over the state of Ohio and Kentucky and Indiana. You guys probably would know this one, Vogelpool Fire. Their big focus is Kentucky, but they serve a lot of Ohio departments and even Cincinnati departments. Distributors that'll provide these hoods, and they're about $10 a piece.
I can testify to, especially on the firefighter side. I'm a third generation firefighter. My grandfather and my dad are both fire chiefs, or were fire chiefs. So I got a little bit of the insight of the funding, and help purchase a fire truck. So you're dead on the numbers, but that's a fire truck without anything is $1 million. That's without the lights, the sirens, the
lift ladder. What is
the
that?
SCBA holders for the jump seats. I mean, I could nitpick and go all the way down, but it's $1 million without a paint job, without lettering. You get that, and then
And if you get grants, you barely get any money off the truck. You get grants to cover the other shit that's not included.
Exactly.
Exactly. So that's straight up cash, hard, boom, right out of your budget. And if you don't have a tax levy, or people don't want to approve it because right now housing market is fuck their taxes up all the shit because we're totally reaping the benefits from the value increase. I haven't sold my home. I'm sure as fuck not selling it right now.
Right.
A higher tax bracket, and I'll do it for my fire and police. But there's not a lot of people out there that can afford that right now.
Right.
Well, it's talking about like the volunteer firefighters, but this kind of goes back to my days at Mission Barbecue because I, went out to see them, and at one point I needed some trucks out there to put up their flag, and I went to one of our local fire stations, a grouping of them, and they had 4 different trucks that were out of order and couldn't get them fixed. And so they've created this thing within Louisville and a little bit of the outskirts where everybody's kind of helping each other. We got people coming 30 minutes away from a different district to help other ones because there's not enough firefighters. There's not enough trucks. There's not enough supplies.
It blows my mind that, as a community, why don't we help support? And when I say support, not just by giving, donating money to them or whatnot, but, reach out to our state representatives and our city and state governments, and say, hey, we need to help fund the police departments. We need to help fund the fire departments, the EMTs. I got my sister-in-law. She's a captain with Oldham County. She's an EMT. She's a paramedic. And she's like you. She's got to buy all of her stuff that she utilizes for her job.
It's crazy.
And then her husband is a lieutenant with Louisville Metro. He's an EMT with Louisville Metro. And so they both have to buy their own stuff. And it's just like, bro, why don't we as Americans say to our city and state government leaders, hey, we need to pass laws that's going to help our firefighters, our EMTs, our police officers, our first responders. That's what needs to happen.
Because you got too many people running around not knowing how to pull the big girl panties up and act like a human.
By the way, Carl, 100% on that private message. 100%. Those the 3% funds, the 1% funds.
The slush funds I'm talking about at the state.
Yeah. They're
for sure.
They're just dirty. Anyway, guys, I have got to jump off here. I'm running out of steam. So, Carl, good to meet you. I sent you a friend request, brother. I'm gonna go eat some taco soup.
Show him some fries as a
I
party.
ate all of them.
Aw.
All right, Brandon. I will talk to you tomorrow, brother.
Bye,
Yeah,
Brandon.
good night.
All right, later, brother.
Later.
So
Oh,
He
Wait.
he wanted to come
Wait.
back.
Whoa!
He wanted to come back.
Did I? I'm so confused. Anyway, Carl, keep doing. Since I'm here, keep doing the good work, man. I love your organization, and I want to talk to you about getting you on the radio station, and we'll do a little talk radio or something. Get it out there.
absolutely. Thank you very much, Brandon.
Now,
get him a closer connection with the guy that built that company, Brandon.
I got plenty of connections. We can.
Well, you said it's only like 20 minutes.
You
from
talking
here.
about? Oh, you talking about North America? Yeah, I'll go up there.
Yeah.
I'll go up there and talk to him.
See what kind of a little bit of get a name in there.
Yeah, I can. It's easy. I go up there a lot.
There we go.
There you go. All right, brother. Be good.
But yep,
Get some rest.
Yeah, man.
No, Brandon's a super cool cat, man. He's awesome.
I with everything in mind, I definitely wanted to tell you guys there's plenty of support there. Unfortunately, whenever you stick around long enough and you're successful, you're gonna get haters. You're gonna get people that are doubters. They want to say, "Oh, but how's he paying his bills?" That's none of their fucking business. I got my benefits. My wife works. That's all they need to know. Nothing from the charities coming from the charity in my personal pocket. And my treasurer, she'll tell you that. She's already looking into that, and she's like, "You've done everything great," and she's handling it. Bottom line is, we've been doing God's work for 4.5 years, and it's because these heroes are worth every minute of effort. See, even the dogs agree.
They agree.
They agree. The dogs agree.
What's that dog song?
My team just got home from work, but yeah, it's crazy because back in October of last year, this is near the 10th, like we're winding down for the year. Pay with tacos. That's great. Rounding out the year, we're talking about our budget, getting things together, figuring out what we're going. Last year was a record year for us. We gross receipts, that's including in-kind donations of toys and stuff that we gave to families through Good 360 and stuff. $109,000. It was a huge year for us.
Wow.
More than twice our biggest year before that, which was 40,000.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So that support is rolling in, but that also shows how well you guys are doing what you're doing. When that support grows, it tells so much about you. And if you almost doubled that, like you guys are fighting that good fight, and we should all be so thankful that you guys started what you did.
It's a labor of love. It really is. And when we were rolling things down for the year, my wife and I was sitting here. She works from home 2 weeks out of every 3 weeks. She actually helps certify veterans and their dependents for education benefits at the University of Cincinnati.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
it's literally embedded into what we do, right? So she's sitting over at the dining table working. I'm over here staring at my thing, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm sipping on bourbon because I'm bored, right? I'm just chilling. And it's totally relaxed time. And I'm like, thinking of what can I do to make our golf outing more successful? I wanted to crack 100 golfers. We were at 96 golfers last year. This year we hit 88, and we still did really good. A lot of charities are struggling with that. But at the time, I'm like, how can I make sure in this heavy philanthropic city with all these damn golf outings for all these different charities, how can I make people want to come to ours more? And I was thinking, the cash prizes, last year it was a $100,000 shot. Insurance policy paid for that. If somebody would have made it at 165 yards out, we upped the ante and made it $1 million shootout for players to take the shot. And then we were like, okay, but that's not going to do it enough. What else can we do? And I thought about an entertainer, and I'm like, okay, we could take some extra money from a layover from sponsors from the golf outing. We could use that to bring an entertainer in, but this is our budget, $3,000. What can we do?
Right.
I was like, what if we went after Michael Winslow from Police Academy? And people were like, thinking, oh, a comedian would be really funny. My wife's like, would you just shut up and do it already? Well, I called his publicist and was like, hey, I would love to see what I could do to hire Michael to be at our golf outing. and I had a couple ideas up my sleeve. Is there any way we can have a conversation? Well, he said, oh, well, that's usually this and this and this, and there's a writer and all this other. I'm like, well, hold on. What I'm about to ask you to do is a little bit unorthodox. It's not, I'm asking you to come out and do a comedic show. I'm asking you to see if he'll come, be an appearance. We could drive him around and introduce him to the golfers and have a good old time just appearing, and then he gets as a keynote speaker, right? Flash forward. He approved the contract. We got him on. He came over to the event. I'm going to tell you something. Not only was Mr. Winslow the most down-to-earth person ever, okay? People who don't know what Police Academy is, he's Officer Lavelle Jones. Just YouTube it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
10,000 voices. He came out and he said, oh, we're going to have some fun. So I had a 6-seater golf cart where it was myself, Michael Winslow. The next row behind me was WTF Nation Radio's mom. She was with me because they're a sponsor every year. And behind her is my cousin, who's the photographer. Mind you, she used to be a former Ohio State Highway Patrol camera photographer.
Nice.
So she's good at what she does. She now does weddings and events. Anyway, we're riding along, and we're creeping up behind golfers on the tee box. And as they go into their backswing, Michael, random sound like a gunshot, a cat, runaway rooster or turkey, you just go onto our Facebook page, you'll find the video. And we would mess with people on their backswing. And it was hilarious. Yes, he had a microphone. We even had a bullhorn in case he needed it, but we didn't need it. He could do everything. And it was absolutely perfect. The weather was perfect. The timing was perfect. And people didn't get mad. They laughed about it. It was very, like, one girl was trying to just chip the ball onto the green from right off the green in the rough. She wanted to put it on the green. He scared her with a runaway dog sound that literally wound up hitting the ball and knocking it into the woods.
Oh, God.
and that wasn't the end of it. He wound up surprising us with a 15-minute bit of stand-up.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
And, I got the special treat of meeting somebody I grew up loving, right? But I knew that people would love it because he still even has a uniform once he was a cop on Police Academy. The humor-laden but humanizing the badge feeling that he brought to that event was just an awe-inspiring experience. He was also down to earth. He never shied away from somebody coming over to him and getting a picture and talking to them and making them laugh. He just flat out exuded the message that a lot of people want to see of humanize the badge. Even though he's an actor, he's not your typical Hollywood guy. He's like us.
Yeah.
And he loves our first responders and our veterans. Interesting factoid about Michael Winslow is his dad was a Tuskegee Airman.
Oh, okay.
His son served in the Marines. And his daughter, I think, does. I don't know what his daughter does, but he has his grandkids through his daughter, and he's got a beautiful family. But he's embedded into the service entities. Okay, even as we speak, you know how USO tours work, right?
Yeah.
Where if you go overseas as a celebrity, you're over there nonstop for 3 to 6 months, entertaining. The government allowed him to interrupt his tour to be at our event.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's how much he wanted. He's like, no, I absolutely got to make it to this event. And they flew him back Oconus to stateside to be at our event. Like, that's
how awesome is that?
And and we do have the military branches on the recruiting side. They sponsor our events every year. I mean,
I saw that some of your sponsors. I was like, whoa, how did they get some of these people? Like, I think it's awesome.
We are SAM certified through the government, which means we're an authorized vendor for government funding through entities that want to sponsor us that are government entities. We've had the Cincinnati VA. They had a team in our golf outing. It was a lot of fun. I mean, you don't get that kind of support without the kudos that the public knows you're a trusted entity.
Right.
And it doesn't happen overnight, guys. 5 years is a long time. And I'm sharing that because that's how much support we have, but we're not done. there's one more thing that I'm in the middle of trying to do. There are a lot of first responder serving charities around here. Now, granted, there's a lot of veteran serving charities, and we want to help them too. But we want to help the first responder space a lot. So, myself, you guys had Nick Ron. You remember Nick Ron?
Yep, Nick Ron.
Nick Ron, my friend Robert Peters, who happens to be our treasurer. All three of us, we're the three amigos, along with several other members from each of the charities that are on the board that are benefiting from the event for transparency, giving a window into ops, plus also owning the event, right? We are putting on a benefit concert. And it's going to be a big one. We're hoping to have it at the Heritage Bank Arena next September, not this year, next year. And it's literally the Heroes Honky Tonk.
No.
And we're not sure what acts we're going to get, but we're trying to get big acts to make it fun. And our goal is, after the cost of the acts and everything else, all the money that's raised, we plan on taking and splitting up evenly among all the charities. My financial advisor on our board, she asked me a question during a meeting. She goes, "Why don't you give more to your charity?" And I said, "Because it's not about my charity.
No.
Right.
It's about the collective cause, because it takes a village to take care of our heroes and their families."
Absolutely.
Oh, I feel like I say that all the time. And
It's so much fun to do this stuff, though.
Yeah, and I know Rocco's part of that as well. And
Yes, he is.
so we had talked a few times over the last 6 months, I guess. Me and you have talked, and so he's doing the honky tonk, or what's it called again?
Heroes Honky Tonk, yes.
Heroes Honky Tonk. That's what. Which is cool, because they're going to try to do it in a big arena, and there's a lot of veteran singers out there that are not signed on record labels, and there's some that are signed, like Chris Turner. He's a up and coming country singer and super cool cat. And then so we're doing a hero stock here in Kentucky,
Yes, sir.
this year, which is with Jason Steiner, and he can help you with a whole list of singer songwriters. I'll get you connected with Jason Steiner, and we'll figure that out and see if we can help you out any way we can on that. But it's
meant to be successful too, man. Because like I said, it takes a village.
No, it will be.
It will be.
Like I don't think there's any question on whether you're going to be successful on that. It's awesome.
I think once we get the hero stock in Kentucky, which is it's the hero stock's already in 3 locations this year. So you got Raleigh, Missouri, you got Nashville or Lebanon, Tennessee, and then somewhere else. I forget the other one. But we're trying to add a 4th one this year to Kentucky. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be, when you have your Heroes Honky Tonk up there, I'm going to come up and visit, and probably maybe try to do a live from there or something like that, because what you guys are doing with Back to Heroes Rumble, and then plus doing the Heroes Honky Tonk. I mean, you guys, and we said it last night, we were talking, you guys have, had partnerships with the Cincinnati VA. That right there, once you get to that level of status, because the VA just don't partner with anybody. I mean, they have to vet you. But now that you've partnered with the VA, that opens up a whole different, more doors for you than just being a regular 501c3. So that's kudos to you and your wife and your board. You guys are doing amazing things. One of the officers that they honored, I knew personally, Officer Jason Ellis. Unfortunately, he was ambushed and lost his life. And Carl and Back to Heroes Rumble and the team there, they honored him, and it's just what you guys do for officers and military is amazing, and their families. We didn't even touch on Project Little Hero, but unfortunately we're running about that hard stop that we got to get with. So Project Little Hero is a thank you based program for families of law enforcement officers, firefighters, EMS, and military service men and women, and our veterans. And this was started in 2016 by a local military spouse, Emily Mather. Emily is an Elizabeth Dole Fellow who gave her time and efforts alongside her husband, an OIF combat veteran who also is a Purple Heart recipient.
Yes.
So tell us just a quick snippet of what Project Little Hero is.
They want to tell us.
Haley barks at everything. Haley, go lay down. She's German Shepherd Aussie mixed. Does that tell you anymore?
No, that tells us enough.
So, Haley, lay down. Good girl. So, Project Little Hero, as it says, was started by Emily Mather and Michael Mather. They saw a need. They partner with Operation Homefront to collect toys through Dollar Tree stores, etc., and other donors. And they turned around and gave those toys to fallen military, not fallen, excuse me, from military and veteran families. Mm-hmm. And they put it on at the Woodlawn Armory every year. Follow that up. They also saw a need that there were first responders, and they're like, let's serve them too. So we decided to add toys to that when we took over the program. And Nikki Barrow and Joey Barrow, they were the ones that took the torch from Emily and Michael before they moved to Florida to keep that program going. And then they came onto our board and said, let's keep this thing alive. And I said, well, we need to make sure we recognize who started this.
Right.
And so we took it under our wing, and it's grown. And last year we gave over $75,000 worth of toys.
Well, you're also doing school supplies with that.
Yes. Starting in August, we're going to have a back to school drive. We go to buy a lot of stuff, but we'll also have a collection point at some point. We're still figuring that part out because I've got so many coals in the fire. Along with that program, we got a Freedom Fest on July 4th weekend where we put on a cruise in, and there's fireworks at the end of the event. I mean, it's a 3-day event. We present equipment to these agencies that I showed you one of the vests of. It's like $13,000 worth of equipment to 3 departments on the 28th of June. So there's so much going on, and it's just constant, just recycling time.
And you're always wanting to do more.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
No, I definitely love it. So we got a few more minutes here just to close out. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a time to do a closeout statement. How can people reach you? How can people donate? And all that good information.
So if you go to backtheheroesrumble.com, again, backtheheroesrumble.com, you go to our website. You can actually go under the menu bar at the top, click on the thing that says how to help under the About Us. And down there, you scroll and you'll see donate. Okay. You can also choose which program. You can donate any set currency and amount. Thank you for putting that on there.
You're welcome.
A lot of people muddle the name Back the Heroes Rumble. They spell it without the second E. And then you don't find us. It says, oh, it doesn't exist. If you struggle finding us, just Google us and you'll find us. And you'll also see when you Google us reviews from police and fire chiefs we've helped directly.
Yep.
So you know we do what we say we do. And if you need to reach out to us and want to volunteer, you can sign up on our website. You can send me an email at carl.whalen, as it spells on my sheet right here. Carl.whalen at backtheheroesrumble.com. And send me an email. I'll make sure I get you any info you need. And then obviously, if you're a veteran, if you're active or reserve component military or National Guard, if you're a police officer, if you're a firefighter, or if you're retired of such, you're welcome to enjoy the thank you based programs we provide through Project Little Hero. Please come to our car show this August 3rd. It's free for spectators. Day of registration open only for the car show. It's $15 per show vehicle, though. The money raised goes to honor 2 fallen officers, Officer Dale Woods of Coleraine Police Department and Officer Dominic Francis of the Bluffton, Ohio Police Department, who was also a firefighter. Both these officers were above reproach as cops. They were both awarded top cop in their respective department in the state of Ohio. And they were always pillars to their community. for the kids, for schools, everything. So you're really serving true heroes every day when you come to our car show and supporting their families.
Well, Carl, it's carl.whalen@backtheheroesrumble.com if you want to email him, or you can go to their website at backtheheroesrumble.com, which is all in chat. You can just click on it right there. Carl, I want to thank you for coming on here and talking about Back the Heroes Rumble. And we could tell that you're very passionate about it. That's for sure. And like I said, you guys are VA accredited, so you guys are actually legit, because VA just don't stamp everybody. So that and you guys, I just can't wait to see where you go from here. And you've got big ideals. I mean, you've talked several times, and you got big plans for what you want to do and how you want to help and continue to help the law enforcement, veteran, and first responder communities out there. It's amazing, and I can't wait to see where you and your wife take this organization. So thank you again for coming on here. Tell your wife and children thank you for allowing you to come on here, spend this hour and a half with us, and I can't wait to see what you got going on, man.
Appreciate you guys having us, and furthermore, everything you guys do with your podcast and spreading the good word of every one of us stepping in even long after we got out of the service when we don't have to.
Yes,
and
sir.
Doing what we do for our community, for veterans, our first responders, our brothers, our sisters. And, it's good things like that the public needs to see more of. And you guys are doing it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Man, we'll let you go. You have a great night. Enjoy that other smash burger if you got another one hiding there somewhere, because I know Brandon's probably like salivating. So you have a good night, my friend.
You too. Thank you.
All right, bye. Dude, how cool was that?
It was so cool. It was so much fun. And it was another one of those. I had goose pimples through the whole thing. We get all passionate, and there's bad things, and it's so unfortunate that that organization is necessary.
Oh yeah. No, and there are other ones like Back the Heroes Rumble that where they help provide needed gear for law enforcement, firefighters, EMTs, your first responders, but they're not, I guess the word I'm looking for, they're not highly recognized because they don't, they're not, I don't know. It's hard to tell. If you're not in that community, if you're not in the first responder community, you don't know about them. That's why when I stumbled upon Back the Heroes Rumble, I was like, oh, this is cool. They do this, they do this. And I was like, so I reached out to Carl, and we've clicked from day one, and it's just like, it was like, cool, man. I'm super excited about it. And
I love that it's tri-state.
Yeah, Kentucky, Indiana, or Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana. Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, that one.
Look at the thing.
Yeah, that one, Indiana. Yeah. But no, he works with Rocco, and I, of course, I know Rocco personally. Like Rocco's my boy, and we've talked about Back the Heroes Rumble and stuff like that, and it's super, super, super cool, man. We were reached out, today earlier. Grace, I'm about done. I know you just jumped on here. But
it's your hard stop.
Yeah, it's my hard stop.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to. So anyway, but we've got a lot of great shows coming up for you. Thank you guys for doing, coming on here, talking in the chat and liking and following and sharing and all of that. That's what helps us get out there to the world to help more veterans. We want that one veteran a day. If I help one veteran a day, then I did my job. Candace did her job. That's what we do this for, to help one veteran a day. And then I played the commercial earlier, and I'm going to play it again just because it needs to be played.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's way down here, but if you're in crisis and you're a veteran, 988 star or pound one, whatever, push one, option one.
Also family.
If you're not a veteran, just 988. Yeah, just 988. But you also have to ask that next hard question. We talk about this all the time. You have to ask that next hard question. 22 a day is too many. One a day is too many. And we need to help get that number down.
Mhm.
So you have to ask that next hard question. If you have a veteran, first responder, that's a friend or family or acquaintance, reach out to them. Just ask them how their day is.
Just check in on them.
Just check in on them because, veterans, we have our PTS.
Mm.
Firefighters, EMTs, police officers,
I do too.
they have PTS as well. They do it differently than we do as veterans, but they do as well. So make sure you check on your first responders. Hell, sometimes check on your teachers during the summertime because they're going crazy. But
I don't know. They might be living the life.
they could be. But you definitely have to ask. You have to ask that next hard question. But this right here, if you read what they write on this whiteboard, I guarantee it. You've probably answered this question with something that they wrote on this board.
Wow.
Yeah, that it's just
Every time.
every time it gets me every time goosebumps. I
Mhm.
mean, because I've said that same thing. Everything that I'm living a dream. I'm hanging in there. I'm okay. I'm fine. I've said it all.
They're
Everything.
almost robotic responses.
Yeah, it's just like it's just like
That's how you get by with just not talking about it and
Yeah.
not realizing that sometimes, if
sometimes you need to let it out.
But when somebody asks that next hard question, it gives you that sense of, oh, they actually care.
Yeah,
So
And-
it gives
and
you
be
that
ready.
opportunity to release.
yeah, and be
Mm.
ready to sit there and have a conversation with that person.
Mhm.
If you're going to ask that next hard question, be
Mean it.
ready.
Mm.
Be ready because it could be a 15-minute conversation, could be a 3-hour conversation,
Mhm.
could be a 10-hour conversation. Just be ready to sit there and have that conversation. Just don't mean it just by passing by. You have to really, really mean it. So
Yeah.
you do. Anyway, it's about that time. I got to jump off here, and my wife and kids are needing my assistance. But anyhow, it's been great. You guys are great. Everybody that's come on here right now, HomeFront Sitrep is #1 on FeedSpot. So if you go to Google and type in 100 Best Veteran Podcast, FeedSpot's the top one.
Oh, I was like, what are we looking at?
Yeah. So HomeFront Sitrep is #1 on FeedSpot. If you type in 100 Best Veteran Podcast, FeedSpot's the top one. You click on that and you'll see HomeFront Sitrep. We are #1 on that. So thank you guys for that. You are why we do this. You are our mission is to reach one veteran at a time.
Mhm.
Our mission is also to highlight these grassroots veteran service organizations from around the country that people probably wouldn't even hear about.
Let the resources be known.
Yeah. So anyway, like Candace and I always say, stay safe out there. We got your six. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.